All right, so power of a product rule. So it's very similar to the power rule that we were talking about before. The only thing is you're going to have multiple bases and exponents inside the parentheses. But the same thing as before, it's still power to a power. So you're going to multiply the exponents. Okay, so we still have our parentheses, we have what's inside the parentheses, but you might have multiple different things. So let's say we have the number 3. Let's still stick with b to the 5th and have the 2 on the outside, but let's also say that we had d to the 3rd. Okay, so you see we've got multiple bases and exponents inside the parentheses, but it's still a power to a power, so we multiply the exponents. We also have to say distribute to everything. Okay, so that's important. So you have to make sure you're taking that second power and you are distributing it to everything inside the parentheses. So taking the 3 and the 2, so we have 3 to the 2nd power. Okay, that 3 doesn't have an exponent on it, so there's nothing you need to multiply. So then you have b, and then you have the 5th power, and because you have a power to a power, you multiply your exponents. And then we have d, again, power to a power, so multiply the exponents, right? So the difference, going back to the product rule, is you had two separate things that had the same base. That's when you add the exponents. With this thing, there's not two separate things with the same base. There's just one, but it has an exponent, and then that has its own exponent. So that kind of changes it. So that's why we do multiplication with this one. So 3 to the 2nd power, that's 3 times 3, which is 9, right? And then if we're doing 5 times 2, that's 10, and 3 times 2 is 6. So our final answer, so we have the 3 to the 2nd power, which is 9. The b stays the same, the d stays the same, but we're going to use our multiplied exponent. So b is to the 10th power, and d is to the 6th power. So that is power of a product. So that's just multiple things inside the parentheses. Very similar to the power rule, right? But just remember, power rule is only really one thing in there. That other part of it that I did kind of ties into the power of a product.